Hello again. This is just a quick touch base on the Apple Motions lights and camera. I like putting these little shorts together so that you can get an idea of what's going on behind the scenes. As you see here, I've built this little building, and believe it or not, it's made entirely of a 3D text symbol right above the return key. It's called the pipe. It's just above the forward slash or backslash, whichever one that is. So below the delete key and above the return key there, it's a straight line up and down. And I've just used those for the pillars here and all the beams, even the walls here I've built up. And each one of these have got their own material. Got a concrete type material there, and this is ice and paint on these, and these are multiples. So what I'm going to touch on in this video is the how the camera rotates around. It appears to be rotating, the object itself is rotating, but this is actually a camera rotating around the object itself. And as you see, there's lighting going on here as well. So I'm going to just open another one quickly. So this is again, I'm using the square bracket and the pipe. I'll just stop it here. These are just multiples and built up. So I've got some lights going on. And the reason for this video again is to show the camera can actually revolve around the object. The lights can actually be either attached outside, or it can be attached to the object itself, to a layer, and so that they rotate with the unit rather than from the outside. So let's delve in. So I got this set up with the main group here, which controls everything below it. A series of square bracket. First of all, to show you the text, if we go into appearance, it's just your basic surface material. And I've discussed this in other videos, but you can actually make it multiple, and then you can have a choice of different surfaces. I'll choose that there so that it stands out a bit more. So, and you can actually affect the depth as well. So this gives you a shape which you can have more control over color-wise and material-wise. So I'm just going to go in and rotate that around so you can get an idea of what it is. So there it is there. What you actually are seeing is a left-handed square bracket, that pipe symbol which is above the return key and below the delete key. There's two of those side by side, and then there's the right-handed square bracket. And what I've done to make up all this is basically just went into the text, went into format, affected the tracking a bit so that it created something that's a bit more shapely there. So you can almost see it here. But anyway, I didn't really want to go too much into how I made it. I just want to touch on the cameras. But so I got some within this this layer. This is I've got this second group underneath the main, which I've got two lights on. And if I switch those off, you can see which ones they are. And like I said, this might be a bit slow on the uptake, because I've got a little bit too much going on there. But so, and then you got the red one there too, which these are actually attached to the shape group, so that wherever the movement stays in the main group there. So the main is spinning around with the camera. And so if we look at these other groups, I've got this group here within there, which I've applied another light, which basically means that if I highlight that light, you can get an idea. The one that's got the anchor points showing, that's fixed to that shape. So you see it stays with the unit, in spite of the fact that the camera is rolling around. And of course you have each one of these shapes, the pipe and the right square bracket. So that's all in that group. This group here, whoops, that's the same one. This group here is basically just copies of the original one. So all these are going to be copies. And same with this. Same with this. So these are just copies so that I could actually build up the shape. So it's got 1, 2, 3 groups at 0 degrees rotation, and 2 of these groups are at 45. As you see here, 45, 45. That group is just 0 degrees. So I've marked these with some indication of what they're doing, so I can keep track of them. So that's it in a nutshell for how the shape is built. Then on the outside of the unit, I've actually applied lighting as well. And if I go up to the top, it might be easier to see. So the H key to bring that around. So actually just there. So there's your camera. Here's your different lighting. So as we're spinning it around, the 3D group, I might actually make that smaller so we can see, if we can see the camera that way. Okay, so within the 3D group, you can see that I've got the light that's fixed to the subgroup. I've got a light that's also there, which is just rotating. And then I've got a light that actually is rotating around this main group as well. And I'll just hit on these here. So that one there is sticking with this group. This one here is just rotating around with the main group. And you've got these out on the outside, which are here. And you can see these are just stationary because without animation they're going to stay put because they're outside the animation of the main group. And the same with here. So you got 2 that are just almost, and you can move these around a little bit if you need to. So this is the layout of the lights. So as you can see, within this project you can have lighting that's attached to the main group, which everything is turning. And these lights are here. Sorry. There's 1, 2. And you can see they're moving with the main group. And then you've got this secondary set of lights on the first group, which is just going around and following the animation of group 1. So this is how you can control the lighting and attach it to different sections of the project. So I think you see that camera spinning around like a planet in orbit. And how I've done that is, let's open up the camera for a minute and we can see. So I might even make that smaller so you can see the motion there. So, and it's a very simple way of doing it. With your camera, you have a choice. First of all, you have your angles. I'm going to stop that so it doesn't crash or anything. But you have your angles here, and as you see, the larger the angle, closer the camera gets to the object. And you can see down in the little inset window the change there. Or you can bring it right out away, and then all of a sudden you're getting an angle of view that is you're getting an angle of view that's including more of the scene as well. So, but and these other things, these near plane and far plane, just basically shows it. If you adjust these, you're basically chopping off. If you bring this plane back too much, you'll actually chop off. So your near plane is basically, if this is the cursor, your near plane is here, and it's picking up all of this, and the far plane is from back here and in. So the far plane is actually going back quite a ways, but if you take it right back, you're taking away the background and eventually taking away the whole thing. Not really something to worry about too much on that, because it's for most animations you want the full gamut. You may not need as much as that much in but it doesn't hurt. I mean, with depth of field and things like that, you can argue that you can control that a bit more with how much the far plane is. I would say that if you know about cameras, we're looking at focal plane here. It's pretty much the same thing. And finally, with the camera, it's about whether you choose framing, which as you see with this, it's selected. So the framing means that the anchor point of the camera is there. So you can make that adjustment. Or if you chose viewpoint, your anchor point becomes here. And let's see if we can bring that in set up. So you can see that when you now rotate, it rotates around the anchor point, the same rotation. So and as we change back to framing, and we probably should have sorry, I've probably stuffed that up a bit, but I think you get the point that we're going to go into properties, and I wanted to show you this anyway, how to do it. So we're going to set the revert back to there. We rotate. You can rotate the X a little bit if you need to, but we want to keep that relatively close to 0. The Z is that way. And so what we're going to do, basically, we want to bring that view back into sight. We want to maybe adjust our X and Y and Z a little bit, just so we can get that back on. Now if we got rid of that camera altogether and we applied it again, new camera, it's just going to come back in. It's come back in as framing, and angle of view is 0, so we'll open that back up to where it was. And now, as you see, whatever scene you have it chosen is gonna basically, so we can actually revolve this around the top now instead. So it's basically showing the top. So if we adjust the angle, we can see in the inset we'll go back to this, and if we go to properties, we can change the angle of the camera however we like, and then we can kick a keyframe on and we move this along, and then let's just say 2 rotations is 720 degrees. So now we'll go to active camera. There it is there. The angle is a bit funny. We might still want to just go back and take that angle back a bit so that it's not. So now we have a different angle of rotation, and we're seeing the unit. So in short, we have the camera doing its own animation here. It's rotating around. You got your cyan light that's just sitting there. This cyan light and this green light are just sitting there. They're going around. They're staying put, but it looks the camera's rotating around those as well. The same with the green light. And then we open up the main, and now we're going to see the main is doing its rotation as the whole unit, including the lights that are attached. So this 3D object is a group in itself. I put that in because I wanted to add a little bit second rotation if we wanted. So that's it in a nutshell anyway. So we have the option of rotating around an object and then giving the object itself its own lights and its own rotation or whatever parameter that you want. And then you can give each of the groups their own rotation as well. So say we take that center one and say we want to rotate that as well. So we'll just bring that towards the end and give that minus 720 rotations. And now we can see that the unit itself is rotating within the group as well, and with the camera totally on the outside of it. So anyway, I thought I'd just touch on that a little bit for you to give you some more insight. I know Apple Motion can be quite confusing, and as I always maintain, that it's once you get a knowledgeable feel of just the basics, then you can start creating your own ideas. But remember a few things as you are creating shapes, whether they're 3D objects or flat shapes or text, 3D text. You want to be mindful of the overall project and how it's organized. Be also mindful of when you're starting the shapes out, that your anchor points are zeroed out, your positions are zeroed out. So wherever you're putting your animation will affect the overall shapes there. But this is why it's important to make sure your anchor points are set properly so that they are rotating around the right axis. So if we just solo that was the shape. So it was basically two pipes and two brackets sort of tracked together tighter, and then I've given it a golf ball solid on the side faces, and the front faces have got, I think, graphite or whatever, what they call gadget. So I'll leave you with it. Just hope it gave you some insight on the use of the 3D and the cameras and the lighting. The lighting is something that you pay close attention to because it can really add a lot of dimension to your, especially your 3D objects. So you have your choice of colors. You have a choice of types, or you see the spotlight's got a bit more choice of, you have rotation and position. Your point light, that just has position, and as you see, it's affected the color differently, and your directional, on your properties, you've got rotation X and Y and Z and position, and now you see it's changed it again. So cameras and lights, a very important thing to be familiar with when you're creating these animations. So thanks very much for listening, and I hope it was helpful, and as I come up with more little tidbits, I'm happy to share, so please enjoy. Leave a comment if you've got any ideas of something that's bugging you a little bit about Apple Motion, and maybe I'll delve into that for you. So I'm no expert, but I really love the experimentation. I go in and create these projects just for the sole purposes of experimenting around with what can actually be done with them, and I'm finding that it's as you saw with some of these animations, it's a bit more complex, and you get some pretty interesting ideas going than originally what appears at the surface. So just take care, and hope it was helpful for you. So see you next time.